Marvel has been at the forefront of American pop culture for the past 15 years. Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Spider Man, Captain Marvel, amongst others, have all made appearances in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in some way or another. Almost every single Marvel character has appeared the in the MCU in some way, shape, or form. As it stands, there are 27 Marvel movies in the MCU with more to come. Now, I'm a fan of Marvel, so you would think that I'd be supportive of what Marvel has done to bring so many characters into the movies and bring them out of the comic books. Well, yes and no. For those of you who don't know, fan is short for fanatic, and fanatics are essentially people who support one overarching idea, concept, or thing, essentially. Fanatics are critical of what they like, and because they want to express what they think would be best for what it is they're supporting. For example, for those of us sports fans, I am also a fan of the Cleveland Browns, and I've been critical of my team, but I continue to support them, and much like how I've been supportive of Marvel despite my upcoming criticisms. Now, while I am a Marvel fan, as you watch this video, I want you to remember that I'm also a movies fan. That's going to come into play later on. But first, I'd like to talk about my first issue with the MCU. Well, to be frank, I think many of the Marvel movies are in the MCU are bland. Like they all have this same cheap, comical feeling, like with these same cheap throwaway jokes, with these same, well, with similar cheap throwaway characters. Yes, I do think that a lot of the superheroes in the MCU are throwaway characters, and not all, probably about half of them. Some of them have major movies as well. And I say these movies feel bland because, well, they're essentially filler movies, and filler movies tend to have the bland, not so well fleshed out plots. They tend to have a very little impact on the series or on the franchise, and they're just uncreative. Like they're just uninspiring. I just don't. Well, I'm just not a fan of filler movies, and most of the Marvel movies, and at least those in the MCU, feel like filler movies to me when I watch them. Bland and uncreative are not exactly things that you would think about when you think of Disney and Hollywood, especially when they're combined. Like, usually, but for one of those for one of those aspects that you would think it would be vibrant and creative, especially when there's both of them involved. Now, not all Marvel movies are filler movies. the Avengers, Iron Man, and Spider Man, all are all movies that I'd say are quote unquote eventful movies, or movies that have this big cultural event surrounding them, and then these movies usually generate a lot of hype, and they get a lot of people talking. And I mean, just take a look at Spider-Man: No Way Home, and that movie was definitely an eventful movie. Yeah, I mean, and how long were people talking about it? How long were people talking about seeing Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe and all come back to reprieve their roles? Things like that make a movie eventful. Also, eventful movies also tend to have a larger impact on the overall franchise that the film is associated with. I don't know about you guys, but I would definitely be willing to sacrifice the filler movies for fewer but more impactful and eventful movies. Now, the quality and the quantity are not the only things that I take issue with the MCU. Disney has oversaturated the superhero movie market, and while I'm just fearful that they're going to either burn everyone out prematurely, or they're going to run out of material much earlier than they could have if they had just waited and focused more on the quality of the movies. But if they do run out of content, I'm really fearful because that means they'd have to be creative again. And while Disney hasn't been creative in the past 20 years, I'm not putting much faith into them being creative again anytime soon. The third reason why I'm not a fan of modern Marvel movies is they're too intertwined with each other. Don't get me wrong. I really like having it, or I really like being able to see superheroes and go off and interact with each other, and they're in an interconnected universe. But I draw the line when the plots between the movies become intertwined. Like, I just don't feel the need to sit there in the third Captain America in the third Captain Marvel movie, so I can see what's gonna happen in the next Thor movie that will eventually set up Deadpool 3. I just don't I just don't find that very entertaining, and I'd much prefer to see movies be or a movie series as be more linear. So essentially, while the superheroes could still interact with each other, the plots of the movies would have essentially no impact on the plots of the other movies for other superheroes. Everything being intertwined with each other just generates a lot of confusion. And yes, I have heard a lot of confusion between Marvel fans about certain events that have happened across across all the different movies and TV shows. And well, I'd just like to see them clear all this up by making everything more linear. So essentially, the plots of what happens in, say, one of the Loki episodes would not impact or not have a major impact on anything else. Like, I've been saying this for a while, but I would much prefer seeing the superheroes essentially just fight their own battles with appearances from other heroes every now and then. And the final point I would like to make is what Disney is doing with the MCU is destroying the film industry. There are so many Marvel movies, and so many of them going straight to Disney Plus, mind you, that they're actually killing off the film industry. Like, like you will not find large or big budget films on concepts that are brand new and creative. And Disney has created this mindset in the film industry where, well, if you're not paying big bucks for this big or for this big well-known character, this big well-known universe, then you're not going to take a chance on just on any other thought. Now, a lot of this is because of people going to the theaters a lot less than they used to be in favor of streaming services. But also, like I just said, there's also this new mindset where if you're not paying big bucks for this well-known character or this well-known franchise, you're not going to take chances on these newer ideas. And, well, you're going to lose a lot of creativity in Hollywood when you do this. And, well, that's just not what Hollywood is known for. It's not the name that they've built up for themselves. And well, changing it in favor of this one little aspect, or in favor of this minority of films, is not good for the film industry. Like, you're not going to have you're not going to have nearly as many ideas floating around the film industry. You're not going to have as many filmmakers, and well, it's going to be another story of the rich getting richer and becoming more and more elite. I thought we were trying to get rid of that. If you remember earlier in the video, I said that I am a movie fan, a movie fanatic. And well, this is where that's coming into play. I would definitely give up a couple Marvel movies. Actually, I'd give up most of the Marvel movies that we've gotten in order for a good medium budget startup movie, or a good medium budget standalone movie from someone that's completely unknown. That's a brand new idea. I'd really like to see Hollywood return to what it was, and being the big creative hub that it was. And what is it about the past 20, 30 years where Hollywood just lost all creativity? This is just not good for Hollywood, in my opinion. And in my opinion, it's time for this video to come to a close. And if you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, share this video. Actually, also, if you like gaming, subscribe to my gaming channel, linked down below. I'll catch you all next time. Bye.